and this is Alaska, and you're watching Jamar84 on YouTube. Oh,
thank you so much.
What's going on YouTube?
Jamar.
What's going on YouTube?
Washington.
This is boy, Jamar84 here once again.
Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is your boy Jamar84 here once again. This is going to be video number 1. There's going to be a lot of recording today, so if you are subscribed, there's going to be a lot of videos that's going to be coming up today. But we're here to discuss, and even though it's late, the Monday's episode of Rupaul's Drag Race, which was the Snatch Game. And this is usually the episode that everybody looks forward to. It's usually the episode that is the, most entertaining to see. However, this particular episode, or this particular Just For It Being Snatch Game, felt so underwhelming for a multitude of reasons. The whole episode just seemed very empty. I don't know if anybody else can understand what that means, but it's just, I just remember watching it and was just like, well, at least as far as the Snatch Game goes, it was just not there. And for the first time, that I've said, when I talked about this season, in comparison to last season's Snatch Game, this one was terrible. Last season's Snatch Game was actually pretty good, aside from Max and his terribleness. And that Sharon Needles impersonation. This Snatch Game was just not serving it the way that it needed to be served. So, well, let's go ahead and get this popping. So this episode starts off with that sort of back and forth between Bob and Derek that we saw in the previews and the trailer about, Derek was trying to say, oh, well, I'm this and that. And Bob was trying to say, well, the judges told me this, but they didn't tell you that. That whole thing, basically bickering back and forth and shit. And he said, oh, well, you're a drag queen that can go out there and just have no hair and still be safe and blah, blah, blah. And then Bob was like, you know what? I bet you every 5 minutes this bitch has to give a shady comment. Watching about the next 5 minutes. She's like, I'm not shady. And then literally 5 minutes. If the editors wanted to be funny, they could have put like a timer on it and see when it was that she's put out that next shady comment. Because literally, like Bob said, 5 minutes later, the bitch came back and was talking shit. So, and then that whole, hey Bob, if you want to do ratchet drag next week, could you give me some tips? And if you want to do memorable drag, I can give you some tips. And that whole thing played out, and it was just back and forth, back and forth. I was just like, oh, okay, girl. Y'all better give us something to watch on this episode, because it wasn't much else. Then we get a little backstory. Well, actually, before we get to the backstory, everybody's trying to, decide what it is that they want to do. And Naomi was saying that she wanted to play Whoopi Goldberg, but in the reference of the color purple as the character Celie. And most people do quote Celie all the time, because the color purple is usually their go-to. And mind you, she did look like her. She had her pegged, and she said she had been practicing her ever since she found out that she was on the show. However, Naomi, sis, you should know, after watching the show, after watching what happened last season when Miss Fame and Violet wanted to both do, I forget her name. It was a designer, Donatella Versace. I believe it was Donatella Versace. They both wanted to do it, and they both been practicing. And the thing is, you have to have a plan A, B, C, and D, just in case. You really need to have a solid 3 to 4 people in the pocket that you can choose from in such a case as this, okay? Because she had the whole Celia thing down, and then Bob said, let me show you how much I look like Whoopi Goldberg. And all she literally did was put on a huge afro and looked exactly like Whoopi Goldberg. But then at the same time, Bob was like, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but the person who plays Crazy Eyes on Orange is the New Black on the Netflix series, she had the wig for that. And then she was, oh God, I can't remember that lady's name. I can't remember the white lady that he had impersonated alongside with Crazy Eyes. I can't remember her name, but I think Pandora Box was her on the season 2 Snatch Game. But Bob just had all these different ideas and all these different ways that he could go. He could just do whatever one he just felt like doing. And that's what Naomi should have done. That's what you all should do. Have at least 3 or 4 characters that you can practice very well, that you can do well, have the looks for. So just in case there's another bitch that looks like you and has the same idea that you have something else to fall back on in the case where that person might pull it off better. And you don't want to look like the knockoff version. So that was that whole issue. And then we got some more backstory on Acid and Naomi where, I mean, really it was just Acid talking about she didn't have any friends, or not really necessarily she didn't have any friends, but she didn't work well with other people in New York. Which, who was that? I think it was Thorgy that alluded to earlier, and they said it's probably just because she's a bitch. Now, before I, talk shit about Acid, which I'm really not, because this episode and all the last episode, she had been getting a much softer edit. If I can figure out how to do it, I'm going to put the photo that I took with her, because she came to Houston this past weekend and did a performance. And the thing is, she knew she was going to get eliminated the next 2 days when the episode came. She knew she was going to get eliminated, but she couldn't say it. But her performance was really, really cute. I'll try to put our picture and maybe a bit of her performance in the in between somewhere right around here. So yeah, that was cute. And so she was really, really cool. She was really nice. I enjoyed her show. So, but apparently she said she can't really work with too many people over in New York. So I hope you fix that since the show has aired, girl. And Naomi, we just learned that she was adopted by a white family. So Bob was asking, like, do you feel like obligated to kind of get more into to know more about Black culture because you weren't really necessarily raised in it, you kind of had learned it late? And she was like, yeah, because she said that a lot of people when they was going to school or friends, they would make these references from Black culture and she wouldn't know what the hell they meant. And I was like, oh, okay, well, she didn't really came off like she was raised that way, but I guess you never really know, huh? So let's see, let's get into the actual Snatch game. So we have 8 people, the Snatch game. We had Thorgy Thor as Michael Jackson. You had Acid Betty as Nancy Gray. You had, Kim Chi. Okay, real quick. Kim Chi was deciding when Rue was going around the workroom, he had a decision between either Pearl or, I can never say his name, Kim Von Un. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But he was like a caricature of a North Korean dictator. Now, I get the Korean reference. That's great. But a North Korean dictator, though? There's a very slippery slope just because of the kind of reputation that North Korea has, especially with the United States, of putting that on not today. See, you always pull this shit when I'm trying to record something. But anyways, that could have gone very wrong for Kim Chi. But even though it really wasn't funny, she just kind of faded back to the background, not necessarily being the worst, but not really standing out either. But it was kind of weird to... Okay, no. We're not doing this today. Not today! You get this back when I'm done with my video. Shit. God, he played with this damn squeaky toy. No, you can't have it. Not for like the next 10 minutes. Anyways, so that was, I said Thorgy was Michael Jackson. Acid Betty was Nancy Gray. Kim Chi was the North Korean dictator. Robbie Turner was some issuer from Vogue that, even one of the judges, like, I mean, not a lot of people may know who that is or would understand the references or jokes that you would make. And Robbie was concerned, like, because, the past two Seattle queens, Benda LaCreme and Jinx Monsoon, won their season Snatch games and were hilarious. Even if you remember Benda LaCreme's character, I don't even remember who she was, but it didn't even matter because she was still funny. So, and then Robbie just totally missed that mark. Even her makeup literally looked like somebody took a big powder puff of super white powder and just slapped her across the face with it. Like her face looked dusted, like she just got blown back or something, It just wasn't the most flattering look. Now, I'm not sure how the person who she was impersonating looked, but it just looked a little off to me. Then in the bottom row, we had Naomi, who decided to, I guess Bob intimidated her about her whoopee thing, and she ended with New York, Tiffany Pollard, aka New York. Now, girl, sis, you could have taken that so much further. So much further. If you know anything about Tiffany New York Pollard, you know that bitch is extra, that bitch is loud, the bitch has big ass titties, and is just obnoxious and over the motherfucking top. Naomi is none of that. Naomi is flat-chested, monotone, and very chill, which is the complete polar opposite of what Tiffany Pollard is. And she could have taken the opportunity just to kind of break out of that, but nah. Her look was, she had the look, I could see it, but her everything else just was not, it wasn't there. It wasn't there. And she said she didn't really go into it very confident because she had practiced the whoopee so much and because Bob scared her off from doing it. And Bob didn't even end up doing the whoopee, so you could have just honestly stuck with what you knew. And, well, it is what it is. I guess she, at the last minute, if I saw that Bob wasn't doing her damn whoopee shit, I would have swiped all that shit off and did my damn Whoopi Goldberg. It's not like you needed any makeup to do it. All you needed was the headpiece. But either way it goes, let's see. Who else? Who was next to Tiffany? Was Brittany next to her? No, she wasn't. Chi-Chi DeVayne as Eartha Kitt. Now, bitch, once I saw that she was Eartha Kitt, I had to pause my TV. Because I was like, look, Eartha is legendary. That bitch is funny as hell. And without even knowing that she's funny. She doesn't even realize how funny she is. And then she played on one of like my favorite cartoon animated movies, The Emperor's New Groove, as Yzma. Hilarious. So I was like, Chi-Chi, bitch, don't you fuck this up. And damn it, she nailed it. She kept me laughing. She had the whole embodiment. And then when the bitch stuck her leg up, licking her leg like like a damn cat, I was like, all right, bitch. All right, I'm with you. And then next to her, Derek Barry, who I prayed wouldn't do Brittany. I prayed that she was going to bring out somebody else that she had on the back burner. And that was her initial plan. She tried to, give Rue some character. I think it was a YouTuber or somebody. I wasn't sure who the hell she was. She asked to give a little bit of her, and she said some line, and it would just made her look crazy. I'm like, oh no. No. Just go with what you know. And the thing is, even if they try to read you for being Brittany, they can't say that you were a bad Brittany, okay? So just do Brittany and make it past the challenge. Because what you were doing, girl, was not going to pay off. So she did her Brittany. It really wasn't much of a memorable Brittany other than the fact of how she looked. So, meh. Then we get to the corner, Bob the goddamn drag queen. Lord. These competitions or these challenges have just been so tailored for Bob to win. Or at least always do well. Because not only did this bitch do the Orange is the New Black character and nailed it. Like, if any of you guys have seen that show and know that character, you know how on point Bob's imitation was. Like, god damn. Then the bitch came back, switched it up, and what was it? Carol Channing? Is that her name? I believe that's her name. It's Carol Channing. But she switched it up, and the only other person that we've known to ever switch things up a little bit was Chad Michaels, but she was still the same bitch. Well, didn't Trinity K. Bonet, she was Nicki Minaj. Didn't she switch wigs? I'm not sure. But only I know Chad Michaels for sure was switching up wigs. So that's like been like the only switch we've ever seen in Snatch Game that I can remember. Let me know if I'm wrong. But this bitch changed a completely different person. Not only did she change to a completely different person, that's a person of a completely different race. So that took a lot of skill to pull off, and she did it very well. I was cackling. I was just like, Bob, you are good at what you do, bitch. I can't even. And I still feel like it's very obvious that they're going to make Bob win this whole thing, because I don't see who else that I can see Rue giving this to. I will be shocked. But then again, this elimination kind of shocked me, so you never know. And I kind of like that it's kind of unexpected. So let's talk about this runway, child. Lord bless it. Just bless it. This is a Madonna runway. Now, mind you, I don't know much about Madonna, was never that big of a fan of hers, but I understand why people were a fan of hers. So, and I understand that she has had a wide array of looks, a wide array of just things that you could have pulled from to make your own. Even if you didn't want to imitate a look that she had, you could, put your own drag character into it. There was just so much that a drag queen as a gay man could pull from Madonna. And yet, 4 bitches came out in the same outfit. Relatively the same outfit. Thorgy Thor had a red kimono on. Kimchi had a red kimono on. Naomi Smalls had a red robe / kimono on. And Derek Barry came out in a white kimono, which reminds you, it was beautiful. It had the artwork on it. It looked really nice. But it was still the same shit that 3 other bitches had. So it was just like, okay. And you can see Michelle was looking up like, girl, really? Really? All right. But on to the people who didn't have a kimono. Bob the Drag Queen had like a one look that Madonna did on the runway. It looked like a Boy Scout. Mind you, she looked good in it. So there's really nothing necessarily wrong with it. But I was watching the fashion photo review, and Roger was like, I mean, this is a look that she did one time. Like, it wasn't even like a necessarily iconic look that if you looked at it, it was like, oh, that's a Madonna look. So, but other than that, she still looked good in it. Who else am I trying to remember? Oh, Chi Chi DeVayne. Chi Chi DeVayne did what I would have imagined. The first thing that went to my mind when I think of Madonna look, like the cone boobs, the high up ponytail. Like, I think she did that very well. Now, mind you, there were some things about it that could have been made better, but she still nailed the challenge as far as, the whole Madonna look. And I have to say my favorite, and to me the most creative look, does go to Acid Betty this week. She had the bedtime story, which was all white. She had like a soft makeup, which she looked really pretty in. She didn't have to be like full on Tree of Life or Solar System makeup today. Mind you, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just like once you do it all the time, the excitement of it kind of loses its steam. But she had the big white robe, the big pregnant belly with the birds shooting out of it. And I was like, oh, okay, you know what? I really, really like that. And I remember I was watching this with David earlier, and I was just thinking to myself, I'm about to say, because mind you, we have no idea who was going to be in the bottom 2, which it wouldn't have surprised me if she was in the bottom 2, but I thought that he was going to probably put Robbie in the bottom 2 again, just because she was going to want to keep Acid on the show just for her looks alone. But I just remember saying to my friend, like, it would be so funny if Acid Betty had to lip sync, especially because not only is the bitch big and pregnant, she's sitting here with doves shooting out of her damn body. Like, how's she gonna lip sync with that? I thought it was gonna be funny, but I really did not expect for the bitch to actually lip sync. And it was her and Naomi in the bottom 2. Now, I knew Naomi was gonna be in the bottom 2. I knew it, because that Tiffany Pollard was horrible. I love you, girl, but it was horrible. That's just what it is. And so I was like, okay, I've seen Naomi perform, and I just seen Acid Betty perform, live this past week. So I'm like, okay, let's see what this is gonna be. And god damn it, Naomi Smalls and them legs, child. Them legs are oiled and snared down, okay? And she was giving you Sex Kitten. She was giving you some Violet Chachki tease. It was great. Now, Acid Betty was good too, but I feel like Acid Betty had this whole weight thing. Like, she was trying to slowly take each of them things out. And then she did get creative. I will give Acid Betty credit for this. She did get creative at the end because she started to act like she was giving birth on stage. I thought that was really, really cute. And I thought that he might have kept both of them. I wouldn't have been mad if he kept both, but Naomi Smalls, Shantae you stay, Acid Betty had to sashay away. I was just like, wow, are you wow. I almost paid. I thought Acid Betty was gonna be like top 4, and then she was gonna be the one that just missed the top 3. I thought she was gonna be like Kennedy Davenport of last season, who would just be out of the top 3. But I did not see her going home this early. I really didn't. And so it was really a shocking surprise, which is one of the things I said I like about this show. And before I go, I want to give a quick shout out to Miss Chi Chi DeVay, because damn it, early on in the season, and like when a lot of people's perception for Meet the Queens, they thought Chi Chi was going to go within the first 2 or 3 episodes. And damn it, here we are. The bitch is on episode 6, still going strong. She had to lip sync one time, and even in that one time she had to lip sync, she wasn't even supposed to be in the bottom 2. That should have been Derek Barry. But it is what it is. And even when she did do the lip sync, she turned that. So I just want to say I am proud of Miss Chi Chi DeVay for making it as far as she has with the limited resources. So shout out to you. Just want to give that real quick. And about Untucked, there really wasn't much to Untucked. Acid Betty's sister came on, who she looks just alike. Robbie was reading Naomi's outfits because they're saying that you pretty much kind of give the same thing, like a robe, nude body, nude leg. Like, you pretty much give the same thing, which is true, which nobody can deny. And Naomi got to meet the 2 models that she was just so ecstatic and crazy to see. I didn't know who they were, but she knows who they are. They're her inspiration, this, that, and the fourth. So she was excited to see it. So it was nice to kind of see, her have that moment when you meet, your idol in person, and they say, bitch, you are snatched, and you get to just enjoy that and sit in that. But yeah, that was pretty much the episode. I don't think there's anything else that I'm missing. No, next week, my boo Tadra Hall is going to be a judge. I'm excited to see him, and they're doing like a Wizard of Oz, which I think the episode is called like the Wizards of Drag. So that should be interesting. Wonder who's going to go home now. Like, it's really getting narrower and narrower. I keep waiting for Derek Barry and Robbie Turner to be eliminated, but the competition is getting stiff. Ooh. Excuse me. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, it's getting really, really good, and I'm excited to see it. And I just love this show. This is my favorite show on television, y'all. But thank you guys so much for watching this review. If you haven't already subscribed, I hope you subscribed to the channel so you can come back so we can continue to talk all things drag. And make sure you guys see me later on today for the other videos that I'm going to do. The Real Housewives of Potomac, Empire later on tonight, and an episode of the Washington Post that I haven't done in forever. So make sure you guys stick around for those, and I'll see you guys next time.
Like,
bye-bye.
share, subscribe.
Washington.